Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Did the article today just reveal to us how much Iraqi Dinar is in circulation? Because if we know that number, then we have an idea of what the exchange rate could be. So let's go over this and see if we can see what the real exchange rate could be right now, okay? Come work with me and let's see if we can get this figured out. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy Silver. Yes, it has changed. PIMPY-SILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. Let's see if we can get this figured out. So let's just shoot through the articles that are there. Look, Gutierrez landed there today. Everybody's looking forward to his report on Iraq when it's all said and done. The KDP, the PUK reach agreement on election zones. So they are now prepared and ready to go ahead and go into elections. Baghdad and Erbil agree on Kurdistan's share of the budget. So that's a good thing. Now they could submit it and let's get rocking and rolling. This article caught my attention. Let's go through this. It says, official, Iraq's foreign currency reserves hit 115 billion high. So they now have 115 billion US dollars in foreign reserves. But when you read this, it reveals something interesting. It said the Prime Minister's financial advisor, Saleh, said that Iraq's foreign currency reserves have reached the highest level in Iraq's financial history and currently touched at 115 billion US dollars. Saleh explained on Tuesday to the news agency that the management of foreign reserves is subject to international standard investment guides. He added that the coverage of reserves from foreign exchange in the issued national currency is approximately 150%, which is very high and represents optimal efficiency in the standards of managing reserves, as well as covering the external debt obligated to be paid by Iraq about 5 times. So the amount of reserve that they have, it's 5 times the amount their external debt. But let's go back up here. But let's go here. We know they have $115 billion in foreign reserves. But it says right here, the coverage of reserves, that's this amount right here, from foreign exchange to the issued national currency. So they're saying if this was converted into Iraqi dinars, it is approximately 150% of the amount of currency that's there. 150%. So technically, if you just took the 115 and divided it by 3, you're looking at, what is that, 38 trillion? Times 2, you're looking at about 76, rounded up because of the straggling numbers. You're looking at about 77. So let's look at something. The M2 report is where you usually go to see the currency, how much is out there. But the M2 doesn't just cover cash. Look at a measure of the money supply that includes cash, checking deposits, and non-cash assets that can easily be converted into cash. Well, we don't know how much deposits they have. We know how much cash they have. The non-cash assets, well, I can't help you in oil, but let's just take in consideration the amount of gold that is held by Iraq, all right? Iraq has 130.32 tons of gold. If you come over here and you convert that into ounces, That's how many ounces. You come over here and convert this into dollars. They have 8 billion. They have $8.422 billion worth of gold. So take that in consideration. If you come back to this article and then you add in the 8.422 billion, just to round it up, let's say $124 billion, all right? $124 billion. So remember, we took 2/3 of the 115, which came out to about 76. I said rounded up to $77 billion. Okay, so keep that in consideration. That would be the amount of money just to cover the amount of currency out there in circulation. So if you take the, what did I say, 124 billion divided by the 77 billion. So there you have it. If you take the amount, just the gold, all right, the gold and the foreign reserves, just those, how much they have in total. And again, I'm just oversimplifying this. So they have approximately 115 billion in foreign asset reserves. They have approximately $8.422 billion in gold assets. If you add the two together, just round it up a little bit, it comes up to about $124 billion. Take the $124 billion, and we know that if the 115 billion represents 150%, well, just divided by 3 times 2, it comes out to $76 billion. I said round it up to be on the safe side. So if you took the $124 billion and divide it by the 77 billion, it comes out to an exchange rate of approximately $1.61. Now, you don't need to convert this into Iraqi dinars. And the reason for that is it tells you that the $115 billion represents 150% of the currency that's outstanding. And again, how did I come up with this? It says right here, they got 115 billion. The coverage of reserves from foreign exchange to the issued national currency is approximately 150%. So this represents 150% of their overall currency is what it is. Well, if it represents 150%, then just take the 115 and divide it by 3, comes up to 76 billion. I said round it up, 77 billion is what the amount of money it would take just to cover the currency that Iraq has. Again, we're using round numbers here. But they have more than 115. I added in the gold because I'm aware of how much the gold is. You know, you're looking at 123. I said round it up, 124 billion. So if you had to cover the Iraqi dinar, how much would that 124 billion cover of the Iraqi dinar? Well, it'll cover it 161%, giving you an exchange rate of $1.61. That's what it comes out to approximately. I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything. I'm not counting any deposits or any other assets like the oil that's out there. So if this paragraph is true, and this 115 billion represents 150% of the currency, because you can see right here again, the coverage of reserves from foreign exchange to the issued national currency is approximately 150%. So if you took the amount of reserves and switched it into this country's currency, it would represent 150% of that currency. And all I did is add in the gold because I knew how much they had in their gold reserves, which is another 10.84. Is that right? Oh yeah, it's another 8 billion. So I took the amount of assets that were converted into US dollars. Then I took the amount of Iraqi dinars that are outstanding based on what we're being told in that paragraph and converted it into US dollars, which comes out to 77 billion. And I took the 124 divided by the currency, and it gives an exchange rate of $1.61. Now people are going to go, no, you got to do the conversion. No, you actually don't. It tells you right here, 115 billion US dollars represents 150% of the Iraqi dinar that's out there. It says right here. So even if you convert it, it's still going to be the same, just with much bigger numbers. This is just a simplistic way to do it. I took all the US dollars since everything was already converted in US dollars. Or here's another way to look at it. Let's take a look real quick. Buy back the Iraqi dinar at $1.61. They could do it. But they would have to get rid of all their foreign reserves and all of their gold, and that's not going to happen. I'm just saying, without any of the other assets out there taken in consideration, like the oil, the deposits, or anything else like that, you're looking at about $1.61, and that's being conservative, I think. But let's go ahead, because I know people are going to go, no, you're doing it wrong because that's US dollars. You have to do an Iraqi dinar. No, you don't. You don't. Or you can just add the gold and the reserves together, just to round it up 124 billion times the current exchange rate. That comes out to 163 trillion dinars, which is right where we are. So I'm right. So if you just liquidated all of your foreign currencies, if you liquidated all of your foreign currency assets and you liquidated all of your gold, you can get an exchange rate of $1.61. That's not going to happen, but it is supported. It's supported by the amount of reserves that it has. It is also supported by the amount of gold that it has, and that's not counting all the other assets like oil and deposits and everything else. So the exchange rate that Iraq is currently dealing with is way undervalued. It definitely could increase. Like I said, it's going to be done in increments. Anyways, I thought I would share that with you because once I saw this, I was like, wait a minute, we can get an idea of what the real exchange rate could be. And the rest of this paragraph right here says, the rest of the remaining foreign reserves, which are 50% is in US dollars, are deposited in reliable European global central banks and global monetary institutions, and in currencies such as the pound sterling, the European euro, the Chinese yuan, the Japanese yen, and the currency of the International Monetary Fund, called the Special Drawn Rights units. In addition to cash, gold, which is more than 132 tons or more as specifically announced and deposited in the safe global gold sellers. So there you have it. If you took all of the foreign currency reserves and added it to the gold reserves, you come up to about $124 billion worth of assets that Iraq has. If you divide the amount of outstanding currency that Iraq has into the dollars, it comes out to a rate of $1.61. And how do we know how much the outstanding amount of currency is? Because they told us that 115 billion represents 150% of the national currency. Anyways, you guys, I thought you might get a kick out of that. Let me know what you think down below. I look forward to your comments, and I will catch you later. I'm out.